Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chris from Digital Rim. In this episode, we're gonna add ornaments to our Christmas tree that we made in a previous video. So let's just jump right into it. So as you see, we have the Christmas tree here, a quick little viewport render. But I went ahead and put them into layers. So what we're gonna do is just turn off the tree layer. We're gonna keep the studio background layer just so we can see a little better. Actually, let's just turn off the studio background and let's just go ahead and model these the ornaments, the ball ornaments for the Christmas tree. So in the layer 1, we're just going to create UV sphere. Go ahead and go to tools and smooth the sphere out. Get it back in the center a little bit there. And I'm gonna go ahead and just for now apply material because it's looking kind of, well, we don't have to apply material. Let's just go ahead and model this out really quickly. So we're gonna make sure we're in X-ray mode where we can see both sides. Go into orthographic view and we're just gonna grab this top part because what we wanna do is extrude up to make the little metal part that goes on the top that the hook goes inside of. So we're just going to extrude it up and make the little metal part with some curves. So you can go to tools here, extrude, region, Alt X is the shortcut. So that's what we're going to do from now on because extruding is a common part of modeling. So you're going to extrude often when it comes to modeling. So again, Alt X is what we're going to do. So extrude up, and to extrude straight up, we're going to hit Z. So Z allows you to extrude straight up to make sure it looks correct. So then we're going to leave this little bevel here just for now. So now that we have that selected and extruded up a little bit, we're going to go ahead and apply material to the whole object just to get a feel for what it looks like. So we're going to go over here to material, the materials tab. We're going to hit new material. We're going to call this ornament, MAT for material. Go down here to where diffuse is for surfaces. We're going to hit glossy, and that's going to make it shiny. And we'll keep it there for now just so we can get a feel for what this looks like. So as you see right here, our ball isn't actually, we don't have that nice crease that separates the color of the ball from the top of the ball. So what we're going to do here is go to a modifier, add a modifier here. In the modifiers tab, add modifier, edge split. And that allows us to get the hard edges and also keep some of the soft edges. And you can set the angle for the calculation of which is soft and which is hard. So we're going to go back into edit mode here by hitting tab. And in edit mode, we're going to actually apply a new material that we're going to call metal. So in the materials tab, we're going to hit plus. That adds another material to this object. And we're just going to hit new. Where it says surface diffuse, we're going to add glossy again. In this glossy, we're going to actually keep it the same, but we're going to assign it to what we have selected. So ornament material is going to be what's everything else that's left over that's not selected. So we're going to go ahead and give that a color so we can differentiate the both and make that a red there. That looks nice. And we're going to make this one a gold. So we're going to go to between a yellow and an orangish. That's a little too orange. That's about, that's a little too yellow. That's about right there. So now we have like a golden red ornament to go on our Christmas tree. Very shiny though. So we can knock this shininess down, but for now we're just going to leave it. We can do that later. So let's go into actually modeling the hook that goes on the ornament. So what we're going to do is go into object mode, edit mode. Let's select vertex and we're going to make this selection. Why we're making this selection is because we want to snap the 3D cursor to that selection. So go to Mesh, Snap, Cursor to Selected. And what that does is makes this area a point of interest where if we create new objects, or we can snap our center point to this cursor here. So being able to snap the center point, we can go from our ball rotating like this to, let's go to Tools, Set Origin, Origin to 3D Cursor. Now our ball rotates like this, where now it has a little more gravity and it swings a little bit, so a little more realistic. Alright, so let's move on to the next part of creating the hook for our ornament. So I'm going to quickly just save this real quick to the desktop. Now I'm going to create the hook. So go to Create. And that's always a good thing to do when you're working in 3D. You never know if your computer will crash, especially working in dynamics or something. So you want to save constantly, because you don't want to do hours of work, then have to go back and redo hours of work if your system happens to crash. So again, we'll just move forward, but we're going to go ahead and create the hook now. So we're going to go to Create. We're going to go to Path. And what that does is creates a curve or a path, which you can see the path goes in this direction here. So it goes from left to right, telling by the arrows. So what we're going to do is go back into object mode. We're going to rotate this upwards to 90 degrees upwards, straight up. And I actually accidentally just hit T, and that makes that toggles your toolbar on and off. Just in case you wonder what just happened just now. Didn't do anything special, just toggled it on accident, trying to convert this over here. So now we should have in edit mode our path going straight up and down. So then what we're going to do is just hook this path around, or hook these paths around here. So we're going to hook this around like that. We're going to select both of these edges here, scale it down. While scaling, hit 0, and that makes it even on both, for both selected. So we're going to do the same thing on the Z, hit 0, and it makes it even on both selected. This looks like an X. We're going to hit 0, and it makes it even on both selected. We're going to go ahead and slide this up in the Z axis. And then that should be, and we should actually be pretty good to go now. So we're gonna actually keep that there. And what we're gonna do here, so now we have a nice little curve here, but we're missing the two parts that come down. So what we're going to do here is extrude. We can actually extrude the spline or the curve. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Tools, extrude, and we're going to extrude it down just a little bit. And I will actually go ahead and match these two up, hit 0, boom, just like that. Now I'm gonna do I'm gonna actually duplicate this. So I'm gonna put the center point. Instead of it being out here as before, we're going to do the center of origin at the origin of the geometry. So that'll be at the center of the geometry altogether. Then we're going to duplicate this. So we're going to duplicate object, duplicate, and make sure you push Control D. If you push Alt D, it does a duplicate link. And if you duplicate link, when you change one, it changes the other, which is not necessarily what we want for this, what we're trying to do here, because we want to create the little, if you want to call it a nibbit or whatever here, so then our hook can go inside of that part. So we're going to go ahead and continue down the path of creating this little hook for the hook. And we're going to scale it down just a little bit. Nice little scale. Make sure it's straight, so we're going to go into orthographic view. Let's go ahead and just straighten everything up here. Get everything kind of on the same axis so we can line it up a little better. It's ideal to start off with your 3D cursor at the center of your scene, because everything would be kind of lined up already. And I think that's pretty good right there. So we're going to go back into perspective mode. We're going to move our hook over here, and we are going to bring it up, go into edit mode, and we're going to extrude it down. That's Alt X to extrude it down in the Z axis. And I'm actually going to rotate this one. Go into object mode, rotate this guy 90 degrees. So we can hook it in the bottom here. So then we're going to go back into edit mode for the hook. Alt X, Z. Okay. Alt X, extruding again. We're going to go on the X axis. Alt X, we're going to go back up in the Z axis. Alt X, we're going to go back in the X axis. But we're also going to bring it back up in the Z a little bit. Because you know how the hooks go when you kind of bend them and you put them in the little nibbit part and then pull it back out and kind of twist it if you want to. But we're not going to twist it. That's a little much for modeling purposes. I think this will do just fine. This right here is just fine. So now we got our hook. Boom. Just like that. So now what we're going to do is the next part is bevel this hook. So I did a quick little save. The next part we're going to do is bevel this hook. So we're going to bevel this hook so it has some kind of geometry to it. And then we're going to convert that geometry into a mesh where we can join it all together. So that was a quick overview, but about our next steps. So let's go ahead and move forward. So with the little nibbit part, or the little smaller hook part, we are just going to select it. Then we're going to go over here to our options tab next to material. You have the curve data. You click that and you'll see all of these options pop up. You're going to stay on 3D, fill, full. Make sure it's full, and then go to bevel and depth, and you're just going to pull that out just like that until you get it to where you like it. And this is again one of those artistic moments where whatever feels right, you kind of go with it. And you can I'm changing the wrong one. You can change the extrude so it kind of rounds it out just a little bit more. But I'm gonna keep it like this, but I'm gonna boost the resolution just a bit. So the resolution actually gives it more edge loops around, so it'll be a lot more smoother. And we're gonna do the extrude up to 0.01 to make it a little rounder. And I think that'll be pretty nice, just like that right there. Now to this curve, now that we have a bevel on it, we can add a material to it. So we're gonna go to our materials tab, select, and then we're gonna go, instead of pushing new, you can push this on the side and select the metal material that you made earlier that I did name metal matte. And that's it. So now you have your little nibbit part for your ornament. Okay, so let's move on to the hook. We're going to do the same exact thing. Select the hook, go to the curve modification tool, go on the fill part, put to full depth, go ahead and knock it up until you find a nice depth. And you can still change the curve because we haven't converted it to a mesh yet, so you can always change the shape of the curve and how the curve looks. I think that looks pretty good. We're gonna boost the resolution just a little bit, probably about 2. I think that's pretty nice. We're gonna go ahead and add the material as before. Click on the materials tab, add material, just like that. Now you have an ornament, full ornament. So how do we combine these all together? Because right now they're all separate objects, and you could do a couple different things. You could approach this a couple different ways. You can parent the objects to one another, or however you want to. And parenting might actually be better because we can actually add a swinging motion. So we're going to actually do that. So with this nibbit hook right here, which is scaled, that's why it seems, I was wondering why it seems a little like the top is kind of flat. I scaled it down earlier. There we go. Then we're gonna go ahead and pull this hook up so it kind of gets right up in there like that. Now what we want to do is convert this curve into a mesh like this. So what we do is select the curve, go to object, convert to mesh from curve, and leave it like that. Then you want to select the object, or select the ornament, select the curve that's now a mesh, and you can hit Control J, which is the shortcut for join. So we join both of these together. So now I can select the one and they're all moved as one object. Cool, cool. And we're just going to go ahead and just do the same thing for the hook to keep this simple for everybody. So we're going to go to object, convert to mesh from curve. Then we're going to actually join those as well. So Control J, and that joins them together as well. So now we have a full ornament that hangs like this. I mean, I was considering parenting it so that one can kind of rock back and forth and the other one would stay straight, more realistic. But for simplification of this tutorial, I just decided to keep it simple, you know, KISS. So let's move forward to the next part of this lesson here. So the next part of the lesson will be creating a curve that spirals around the Christmas tree. And once it's spiraled around the Christmas tree, we can take the ornaments and use that spiraling path of that curve to make multiple duplications around the Christmas tree as if it were all on the Christmas tree. So let's begin the process of that. And then we can fast forward if need be, and then we'll catch back up to where we duplicate around the curve. So let's continue. So let's turn on the layers tree. Turn on the tree layer. I'm gonna go ahead and lock the tree layer. I don't want to accidentally select it. Now I want to grab this ornament. It's kind of big right now, so we're gonna scale this ornament down to what's an appropriate upside down. What's an appropriate size, or seems like an appropriate size for a Christmas tree, because some ornaments can get big, some are smaller, you know, but it depends on your style of Christmas tree. Simple as that. All right. So the next step here, now that we have our ornament selected, what I like to do, and this is a good rule of thumb, people have different ways of working, but what I like to do when I create a new object, I like to do a duplicate of the object. And let's go in the Y. I like to do a duplicate of the object and then put it into a build, what I consider a build layer. And the build layer is like whenever I want to go back and let's say I've done everything with the object and I want to create another type of ornament, but I don't want to start from scratch. I can go to this one that I have pre-built and then kind of have a good starting point for something new. So let's continue. So the next part is creating a curve that goes around the tree. So we're going to create the curve. We're going to select path, or before we select path, let's snap our 3D origin back to the center. We're snapping our 3D cursor back to the center, so we're making sure that it's in the center of the whole scene. So as you can see here, you have the 3D cursor in the center of the whole scene. All right, moving forward. So we're gonna hit path, and you see it makes another path right at the center of the scene. And what we're gonna do, which this tends to be time consuming, so we might fast forward through this part of the video. What we're gonna do is wrap this curve around the Christmas tree over and over again. Just like if we were wrapping lights around a Christmas tree, we want to wrap this curve around the Christmas tree until we get to the top. So let's do that. Up, 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 and there we go. So we're gonna go here. And this was, to me, this is always like, I don't know, when we were heavy in Christmas growing up, I really enjoyed this part of Christmas. Just decorating the Christmas tree is always fun. And in a way, this is just, even though I'm on a computer, it's kind of similar to decorating the Christmas tree, just like I would like it. And one of the inspirations for this video is, you know, maybe, you know, I can decorate a tree before I buy all the elements at the store. On the curve, just like before, we can extrude out. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. You can extrude out, you can go to tools, extrude, or you can hit Alt X as before and extrude out your curves. So we're gonna just continue to do that. And we're just gonna go around this tree. And visualize going around the tree, around and around and around. Luckily, there's no pine needles to deal with the digital Christmas tree. We're just gonna go around and around and around and around and around. I was actually listening to the radio and Steve Harvey talking about his 16-foot Christmas tree. That's impressive. My ceilings aren't even 16 feet. I guess a 16-foot could fit in the foyer maybe, but that's excessive. But hey, it's Steve Harvey. You gotta do it big, you know? Doing it big. I'm gonna do it big on this computer though, because I can make. That's the other part of this thing. When you pay, I would assume when you pay that much for a Christmas tree, every ornament, everything is just well thought out. And I don't know, I would consider somebody designing my Christmas tree and sending it to me pre-packaged. I don't even want to. Even though I enjoyed that as a kid, decorating it, I don't even know if I'd want to decorate it anymore. If I had that much, if I could afford a Christmas tree that big. Y'all better decorate it for me. I'm not trying to decorate nothing. But I don't have kids, so maybe that would be fun. We have the little ones doing the decorating. So we're just gonna keep going around this Christmas tree. And just like real life, this was the tedious part then, and it's still the tedious part now. But we're gonna get through it and at it. So you wanna just keep going around and around and around like this until you get all the way to the top. I actually, in a previous video, I made a version that I have in my build layer that we're gonna go ahead and use. So we're gonna grab this, make a duplicate. So I want to keep this for later. And I'm gonna just line it up just like that. So you want to just keep going around the tree just like that until you get to the top. Turn my build layer off. So then, now with my build layer on, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the tree, toggle the tree off so you can see better. But with my build layer, or my working layer here, I'm gonna click tab, go into edit mode, select the point at the bottom at the start. That's, you see the arrows moving upwards. We're gonna go to the starting point, curve, go down to curve, snap, cursor to selected, just like before when we snapped it to the center, we're gonna snap it to selected. That's kind of how it ends up moving around. Go into object mode. Now we're gonna put this origin or the center point at the 3D cursor. So we want it to rotate from this point. All right, we got that going. So then we want to grab our ornament, and we're going to, just like decorating a tree, we want to take it all the way down to the bottom here, make sure it lines up as if we were hooking it onto our curve here. And let me get a better view from the side, from orthographic, like so, over here like this. It's something like that. It's something like that. Just like that. Move it to down a little bit, and I think that'll be perfect. So now that we have our curve that goes around the tree, our object, what we're gonna do is add a modifier to our ornament. So we're gonna go over here to the modifiers tab, add modifier, and we're gonna do an array. An array allows you to add many objects, as many objects as you want, in either direction. But we wanna add the objects to go in the direction of the curve. That's the part of taking the time to do the curve, so now we can just add an array around the curve that we created. Or you can even animate it around the curve that you created. That's the sweet part about it. So with the ornament selected, we're going to add another modifier, which is in the form called curve. So in the under the curve one, we're going to pick select, or you can select it by name, or you could pick whip select it and select your curve. And then now you can go back to your array modifier and have it at fit length. And then just boost the length. I believe that's correct. Boost the length. I just feel like I'm missing a part. Fit length. Oh, yeah, true. So under the curve, you want to toggle through these until you get to the one that matches the curve in the way you're trying to go. So this one matches the curve in the way you're trying to go, even though it looks wonky, and I still haven't figured out how the orientation works when you're trying to do this. I'm pretty sure there's some mastermind and understands, now I wouldn't say mastermind, but somebody who understands the calculations by how you apply these, but it just, I don't know, it never really matches, and you just have to edit it once you get it to, let's say 10, and then we're gonna fit the length. I mean, it was going. I don't know what happened. Okay. Here we go again. I'll try this one more time. Take it off relative, maybe constant. All right, here we go. We getting somewhere. And my computer's trying to bog down on me. Let's give it a second for it to think a little bit. I think I'm going too fast trying to. It's weird how it happens like this. When somebody's watching you, stuff just don't want to work. It never wants to work when somebody's watching you. Here we go. All right. Come on, wheel. Say 10. I don't know why it's saying go negative, but we're gonna go negative because that's what's working, and I really don't feel like figuring it out. So we're going negative. And this is basically what we're trying to do. What we're doing is establishing where the end point is for our curve. Because once we establish where the end point is, we just add more. -149, -149. Come on, B. Let's see if we let's see if we try to add the modifier again. Maybe it's some type of bug going on. Okay, here we go. I think it was just some type of little bug going on. I don't understand what's going on here. But we're just gonna continue along what we're doing here. Here we go. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree. Why are you being so difficult? And the offset is how far apart each individual bulb is between each other. So we're just gonna fill it up a little bit. And I really just want to get a better understanding of where that end point is. right now. And again, you have to play around with this. This is one of the finicky parts of Blender, but it's so worth it once you get it going, because you don't have to place each one of these by hand. And that's worth it to me. Alright, I think that's about the end of it. So let's go to that. Now what we want to do is select the curve and make sure when we go into our curve settings, select the settings here, and we definitely want to make sure that our path animation is off, but we want to make sure Z is up. So twisting, that's what's kind of going on right now, is doing a little twisting, and we want to make sure Z is up so it stays untwisted. So you kind of saw it kind of pop down. Then we're going to select our bulb, our little ornament, and we have to rotate it. And this is again the funny part about this program. This whole array along the curve, it just, for me, it just doesn't make sense. But it makes sense. So I'm gonna rotate it in 90 degrees. Let's see what that looks like. Go back into object mode. Okay, that's the wrong way. So now we want to go back into edit mode. We want to rotate 180 degrees. Now go in object mode and look at here. All the balls are rotated the right way going up the Christmas tree. Beautiful and beautiful. We're gonna go ahead and turn the layer back on of the tree and see what this looks like. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So with that being said, you can go in here still with the curve selected, and you can modify, you know, where they come out at. You can modify all these little points, so you can get it nice where you know, get it real nice for your shot, or, you know, to your liking. You can even, if you want to, let's say we get it where we kind of like it, we can duplicate this curve with the balls and do another layer of maybe gold ones or something like that. But you gotta get an idea of how to lay this out or how to set this up. And again, in the next episode, I'll show you how to do like I don't remember exactly what it's called, but the little part that has all the little like reflective material on it that goes up the Christmas tree. Sometimes you used to decorate with. You can also do that as well. So, I mean, this is a good starting point, I feel. It gets you definitely on the right path to creating some cool work. Again, I would create maybe some variations of different type of balls and put them on there, so you can have multiple curves. They kind of do the same thing. You can have them go up the Christmas tree and at a different angle. So let's just do that real quick. Let's just do one real quick. So let's say I'm done with it, or not even done with this. Kind of like before. I'm going to duplicate this. Duplicate both of these. Control D. Move them in the x-axis, because I like to move things off into the x-axis. And that's more, it's supposed to be from your right. So positive x goes right. So I like to move things off in the x-axis, and I'm going to actually just drop this into my build layer so I can go back to that later. Now what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead select the ornaments, modify, go to the modifiers, go ahead and apply. Go ahead and apply the array. Interesting. Modifiers can be applied. So, I'm assuming this cannot be done. So we've gotten to the point now where we have some ornaments on our Christmas tree. You can create more ornaments, or you can, you know, create different stuff. And again, we more likely in the next episode, we're going to do the reflective stuff that goes around the Christmas tree as well. Now that we have the curve set up, it's pretty simple to set up the other types of ornaments, because you can pretty much work from that same curve and get the same kind of results. So in the next video, we're going to do multiple types of other ornaments using the curve that we established in this video. So see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed. Later. Bye.